Hello, hello, hello. I'm Lyndon Thorpe. Welcome to Our Way, Our Well. And I'm here every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, for 30 minutes at 12 noon PST. And yes, my topic varies. Sometimes I have guests. Usually I like to talk about what I've been writing about in the previous week. I'm primarily a writer. And I really enjoy creating content and books. I'm just in the middle of finishing off a book I'm going to publish on Monday, which is all about burnout and how your body can rescue you from such things. So yes, my embodiment speciality is really now getting into full swing. When I started to work on my businesses about a year ago, I was not very clear about my avatar, about my audience. I knew I wanted to make some money. I knew I had time to create businesses, but I wasn't really sure which of my many skills, if you want to call them that, I would like to use most. I've had a rich and amazing life, and I'm skilled in all sorts of things. And it was really difficult to choose how to proceed and what kind of people I could help. But of course, then I started to narrow down the people with the kind of pains and fears which I could help to solve. And then eventually I moved towards one of my greatest passions, which is the human body. I've always been fascinated by the human body. It's an amazing accomplishment, 100% evolved now. And it is a remarkable system. And so, yes, I've taught meditation and mindful education most of my life, really, and always based on the body, the human body. So I decided that the climate was right for me to really focus on embodiment, on somatic mentoring, because of the epidemic of mindset stuff. Everywhere I looked, I could see mindset this, mindset that. And I always knew, well, for several years I've known, that this will never work. Mindset is just a tiny part of the whole system of each human being. We have a spirit, we have a body, we have a mind. And the spirit is the energy that guides us. And the body is a remarkable system that depends on the earth. And we are at the top of our species. We're the top mammals because we have consciousness. And so to me, it makes such good sense for all three aspects of each human being to be balanced. But for the last 20 years, people have become obsessed with mindset as if it's the only way. And it just is not the only way. So in my work, I bring together many different strands. I'm a very committed Buddhist, have been since I was about 10. And the Buddhist teachings have led me in incredible directions. I live in Japan, and that's partly because of the Buddha. The teachings here in Japan are based on the last teachings of the Buddha, which I was ready for as I reach my dotage, getting older now. And so, yeah, 20 years ago. I was teaching in England. By the way, I'd been a teacher all my life, university teacher for most of it. And I was teaching a group of Japanese women. And their professor and I became very friendly, an American professor. And as they were leaving and everyone was crying because we'd got on so well for a whole month and we'd traveled up and down England and been to Scotland and Wales, and we all had a great time. Then as we was parting, my colleague, professor said to me, "You must come to Japan." And I said, "Of course, yes, I'd love to." Not really thinking it would go any further than that, but it did. About a month later, I got an invitation to attend an electronic interview with a board of professors at Doshishu University in Kyoto in Japan. And I was the only candidate. And clearly they had decided they would like to have my help. So I gave up my job at Imperial College in London and came to Japan. And I've been here ever since. So, yeah, my pathway has always been made by listening to my heart, not my head. Most of my friends said, "What? You're going to Japan at your age?" I actually said that. I was fairly elderly when I first came here. But, everything behind. So I said, "No, I'm not. I'm going where my heart is telling me to go." And I had very strong indications that I should come to Japan. Later, I found out that, this is part of my karma, and that my ancestors were here as Christian missionaries many, many years ago when Japan encountered the Christian teachings. I feel totally at home here. I listened to my heart. I didn't listen to my head at all, really. And I've never been happier. So, mindset doesn't rub with me at all. And most of my work is about how we can get out of the mind and get into the body. The body has a nervous system, 3 nervous systems actually, which are all connected to consciousness. And if we revere them, if we accept their excellence, then they control our lives. And in fact, 95% of all human behavior is controlled by the nervous system of each person. And of course, that nervous system is connected to the DNA of that person, which is unique, and the ancestral heritage and so on. And so, we really can't make many changes with the mind. The mind is a tiny part of the whole system. And so we have to really come down into the core, the inner core of our being. And then we start to work on very different skills and tools. You see, people think the brain, the mind, is our only tool, the intellectual mind. Well, I can tell you there are many, many more minds than just the intellect. And that's really what my teaching and my mentoring really covers. So let me just talk about something I've written recently. And really, yesterday was an amazing day because every Friday I run something called a Lodestone Q&A. Now, let me explain Lodestone. If you haven't heard this before, forgive me if you have, but Lodestone is a product I created in during this year, and I released it at the beginning of June. It's actually an audio transmission, 30 days of audio transmissions that work on three main areas of meditation, really. The skill of detecting vibrations with the whole body listening, the spine, and the breath. Those are the three main components of our bodies, which, if we work on them and perfect them, really do change our lives entirely. Yeah. So we had myself and two wonderful guests that come and join me every week on Lodestone Q&A. Dr. Muhiba Jamusi, who's a transformational coach, and Ebi Sheila Diet-Spiff, who's also a transformational coach. And every week we discuss many aspects of the body and the mind. And so, we had a wonderful session, and it really inspired me because we were talking about age. Dr. Muhiba had given a presentation at the Women's Business Connect global meeting. Every Wednesday we meet. And she had given the second of two presentations based on leadership. And in fact, Women Business Connect is all about leadership. Their programs are mainly about leadership. And I'm a member of the group, and I really started to think deeply about how embodiment fitted in to leadership. And for the past few months, I've been talking to coaches and teachers and so on about this. And as far as I can see, most coaches haven't got a clue about embodiment. They know what the word means, but they have no idea that it's not a concept, unlike mindset. It's an actual practice, it's an actual reality, and that you can't be embodied if you don't do it, if you see what I mean. It's experiential, okay? So I started to talk to these coaches, and clearly they were still dealing in concepts. And so I decided that leadership really is all about, well, it's become a kind of full-blown topic, but it's all theory, it's all concepts. The real nitty-gritty practice is for each individual. And the leading of teams depends on the leading of self. And if we can't lead ourselves, then how on earth can we lead teams? Leading ourselves is all about embodiment. We have to have balance between body, spirit, and mind. That's why we're human. Okay. So let's just talk about what embodiment feels like, because embodiment is all about feelings, really. And suddenly in leadership theory and training and so on, very little attention is given to feelings, because we are taught and we expect that the mind is superior and supreme, and the body really is a kind of poor relative, if you like. But it's the other way round, actually. So I've written a couple of articles this week about embodiment and what it feels like, because I realize that people haven't got a clue about it. So many people think it's very abstract, spiritual, say that word, and many people close up or deny it instantly, but spirit is just another word for energy, really. And spirit has nothing to do, in my book, with religion. So people jump to conclusions that we're talking about spiritualists and seances or ghosts and so on and so forth. Not at all. Spirit, to me, is energy, pure energy. But people really misunderstand it, and they think it's esoteric, and they refuse to have anything to do with it because they think they're going to get kind of pressed into some kind of cult or something like that, or that it's reserved for yoga teachers and dancers, and they are neither. Well, that is wrong. It is truly wrong, because you, as a human being, have felt embodiment many hundreds, thousands of times. A good example is when something doesn't feel right and you get a strange feeling in your abdomen or in your heart. Or if you make a decision, finally, after struggling, then it's probably accompanied by a deep exhale, a kind of sigh of relief. Oh, well, that is embodiment. The body is involved in that. The body is feeling relief. And in fact, if the body was allowed to have more say in decisions, then decisions would be far more effective than they are when only the mind commands them. When you're listening to wonderful music, maybe you get goosebumps, maybe you get transported to somewhere else. Or when you meet someone who is really in tune with you, you hit it off, you have lots to talk about. This is embodiment. We are in our bodies, we meet another body, and our spirits meet. And it's nothing to do with minds. It's to do with attraction, physical attraction maybe, or spirit. So, when you have all these feelings in your body, they're not a coincidence. Your body is actually speaking. And it has a language. Well, we've all heard the expression body language, haven't we? But yeah, it speaks its own language. And in a way, we've been trained out of our native language, which is body speak. Modern life only seems to reward head-based living, logic, speed, strategy. You've been conditioned to trust strangers with your health, qualified strangers in white coats with your health, qualified strangers standing at the front of a classroom with your education. And we've been conditioned to accept frameworks and, in general, mental noise. It's all in the head. Yeah. So what if your clearest guidance doesn't come from the mind? What if it lives in your chest, your skin, your gut, even the back of your neck? Many years ago, I trained barefoot in the red earth of South Australia with Aboriginal elders. They were phenomenal. They could sense a 5 to 10 mile radius with their nervous system. Yeah, that level of sensitivity was amazing, is amazing. And through my exposure to it those years ago, I am also able to detect vibrations at quite a big radius, within quite a big radius. And you can too. We can all do it. It's a question of using the whole body instead of just the ears. We're told often enough that we don't listen now. These societies don't listen very well. But we think listening is something we do with the ears. But did you know that your whole body can listen? And it's a wonderful experience. So that's one of the things I mentor people to do, to detect vibrations and to hone that skill, that ancient skill which has become hidden or, covered in cobwebs because we never use it in the modern world. During our lives, your body has never, ever stopped talking. But we stopped listening because we were in our heads. And now things are getting really serious because we've got burnout, we've got imposter syndrome, we've got all of these very interesting labels for something that we used to call nervous breakdown or nervous exhaustion. Decades ago, that was what it was called, and it was a very shameful thing, and people were taken off to a sanatorium and probably never heard of again. Well, nowadays, thankfully it's out in the open, but it is the same thing. It's nervous exhaustion, and we call it burnout. You have stopped listening to your body. But really, I assure you, you're not broken. You're just untrained. Your body signals to you through your breath, tension, posture, and perhaps temperature change too. And indeed, you've been ignoring real-time data in favor of mental noise, perhaps. So I ask again, what does embodiment feel like? A tingle on your neck before you make a phone call, a heavy abdomen when something goes wrong, a voice cracking when truth is trying to come out, a sudden ease or relaxation when alignment hits. These aren't metaphors. They're operational signals from your nervous system. And that's what we reactivate in our product, which is called Lodestone, Lodestone 1. Lodestone and Zinzino are partnered together. So I'm bringing together my product, Lodestone, which is an audio transmission based on meditation, on Aboriginal wisdom, on Buddhist teachings, and many other things I've honed during my decades of working with people's bodies. And Zinzino is the scientific side of my package. Zinzino is a Norwegian company which produces home blood tests, and the tests are analyzed, and Zinzino produces wonderful natural products. For example, their balance oil, which in fact balances out your omega-6 fatty acids so that you are not prone to inflammation. Inflammation accounts for well over 70% of many human deaths. It is really the scourge of our modern life, with cardiovascular problems, diabetes, and cancer. These are all inflammatory conditions, and they lead to death. So my combination of Zinzino balance oil based on a blood test, 2 blood tests, one at the end of the course of oils, and one at the beginning and one at the end, and Lodestone, which is a 30-day audio transmission, which you repeat a few times. And this combination will not only sort out your science, but it will sort out your spirit. It will balance your mind and your body together, and you will become so much happier and so much more satisfied with your life. So it's as if science is meeting the signals of the body. Your body sends messages through biology, inflammation, omega imbalance, cellular stress. Zinzino tests make this visible, and when paired with lodestone practice, you get biological clarity. In other words, what's happening in your system, and embodied intelligence, how to act from that truth. You're not either or, you're both science and spirit. I guess I reassure you, I assure you, this is not a fix. It's a reset, and that's why it doesn't happen overnight. You need at least 120 days for Zinzino balance oil to really work, and you need 30 days for one round of lodestone. And I recommend that you do 3 rounds during that 120 days. 4, beg your pardon. So you're working on your mindfulness, you're taking your balance oils, and your body is no longer chasing perfection, which many people are doing, especially women, because the image of the perfect woman is all around us in the fashion world and so on. So this isn't about becoming perfect. It's about restoring the natural chain of command. Body plus mind plus awareness working as one. The body knows first, long before the mind does. And this is going to become the perfect model of leadership for this new era as AI becomes agent for us. And we're going to move from mental control to somatic intelligence. We're already doing that with EQ, which is becoming more and more popular in terms of leadership and indeed the workplace. And when this kind of alignment comes back, because you used to have it when you were a child, your decisions will change and your leadership will change and the results you get will change. So I hope that you have learned something from my short talk about embodiment and what it feels like. I'm going to come back again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm going to continue on and tell you more about embodiment. This could really change your life. Thanks so much for tuning in today. LinkedIn members and also YouTubers, thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Lyndon Thorpe, and this is Our Way, Our Wealth. Bye for now.